Okay, so the first time I read this aloud in class, I stuttered through it, but I enlarged the font and changed the font, so hopefully it'll be better this time. And we're starting like a page and a half in, and I had to cut most of my description to make it short enough. So the main character is Danny, and he is from the 2020s, and when I say Danny, that's who I'm talking about. And then he's just crashed into this girl on the street in New York City, and she had coffee in her hand, and she spilled it all over both of them. So, yeah. And this story is called $7.23 because it takes place, the 2023 part takes place in June 2023, and the 1923 part takes place in June, or July. July is the 7th month. I should know, I was born in July. July 1923. So that's why I called it 7. Yeah. So I'm just gonna start, and I'm not good at accents, so this is gonna sound weird. Okay. That coffee was just the bee's knees. Have you had it before? She turned to Danny and smiled. I'm Lillian, by the way. Oh, he tried to get the words out, but she had really taken him by surprise. I'm Danny. Wait, did you say the bee's knees? Of course I did, sweetie. Lillian wasn't fazed. It's commonplace where I'm from. Well, Danny began to question, not fully understanding what she had meant. Where are you from? Follow me, Lillian beckoned to Danny. I'll show you. He was familiar with what going down into the subway meant. It was a gateway to another time, any time. He was just not sure which one Lillian was from. Danny had heard the expression that Lillian had said earlier, the bee's knees, somewhere before, but he couldn't fathom where or when it had come from. It had become clear the time period they were in when Danny's white shirt and sweatpants instantly changed into a vest, button-up shirt, and dress pants, and Lillian's bubblegum pink sweatshirt and pastel blue shockers were turned into a knee-length black dress and feather headband. Danny's eyes went wide when he first saw her new outfit. He wasn't sure if it was the fact that he was shocked about where Lillian was actually from, or something else. He had to remind himself that he had only spoken less than 3 words to her in the course of maybe an hour and a half of time alone together, so he shouldn't have even followed her in the first place. He couldn't quite place his finger on it, and was perplexed. But Danny felt that he was meant to follow Lillian, that he had done the right thing in coming down here. This is it, the girl, only about a year younger than Danny, exclaimed, as she showed the teenage boy further into the bar. This is the speakeasy. My sister Mary rents it My sister Mary rents this bar from a gangster ringleader. It's called Facile Parlor. Bellamy, come here, Tuts, we have a guest. A girl maybe 3 or 4 years younger than Lillian and dressed slightly more casually for the time period, skipped from the other side of the room to the 2 teenagers, took one calculating look at Danny and asked, Who's this? This is Danny, hun, Lillian clarified, still smiling. How is she still smiling like that? It wasn't bad that she kept grinning, Danny thought that she had a pretty smile. Danny, this is Bellamy, my niece. Bellamy stuck out her hand, and Danny wasn't quite sure what to do. Should he shake her hand, give her a high five? What was commonplace in the 1920s? He figured he couldn't go wrong with a simple handshake, so he took the hand of the brunette Bellamy and shook it firmly. The girl did not respond, though, and simply looked baffled, her deep brown eyes glaring into Danny's green ones. Huh? What was that for? I'm not your boss, I'm just a little girl. Here, I'll show you what you were meant to do, Lillian chuckled, taking her niece's hand and playfully giving it a little kiss. Sorry, Danny sighed. Chivalry's dead where I come from. The boy's comment made Lillian laugh out loud. Most of the girls he knew would cover their mouths with their hands, trying to hide their glee. But Lillian opened her mouth wide and let the cackle escape her throat like a train tugging out of mountain tunnel. It wasn't loud or annoying, as it would have been coming from someone back home. Through her laughter, Danny could feel the girl's joy and carefree nature. He longed for her to teach him how to laugh like that. From behind the bar, an exceptionally tall, thin woman with a similar heart face shape and haircut to Lillian strode towards the 3 children. Her skin was even paler than both Lillian's and Danny's, and her auburn hair reminded him instantly of Amy Adams, and was a less orange version of the color of rust. She wore a green dress, was contrasted nicely with her reddish hair. You're blushing, hun, the woman whispered, her head close to Lillian's ear, that she was a centimeter away from bumping the girl on the side of the head. The redhead quickly flicked her eyes slightly to the right and back to look at Danny, which he figured was a way to make sure that he hadn't heard what she said. He had heard her loud and clear. It was obvious that the blonde girl standing across from him was embarrassed, and he knew it couldn't have been because of her laugh. Who could be embarrassed about something so pure? Lillian struggled for words, turning pinker than she already had been, now the color of a river dolphin. Oh, Danny, this is my sister, Belle's mom, Mary. I have to go get something. I'll come back soon. Danny nodded, not wanting to make her say anything else. She was clearly nervous, and he had a hunch as to why, but he could not be sure if his guess was anywhere near accurate.